Where were you the day Unity and Rogue released?
I don't know.
What a question.
That's Richard Lee's question. Richard Lee wanted me to ask that to Jordan. Because I knew where I was.
Where were you?
I was behind the counter at a GameStop. It was the worst fucking day of my life.
Oh, that must have the amount of
A lot of people show up with hoods and like
yeah. And
confused grandmas being like,
it's not even, but that's the thing. It didn't even
one
have
do I buy?
It didn't even have to be confused grandma. It could just be like normal person. Be like, hey, I'm going to pick up the new Assassin's Creed.
You're like, which
and
one?
it was like, what one? And they're like, I don't know, the one for Xbox. It's like Xbox 360 or Xbox One. Like you had like a series
Right.
of like, you know, like deduction you had to go through in order to do it. It was
yeah, you should just like hand everyone a little piece of paper.
Yeah.
Like a little checklist
Yeah.
and they like check the
But-
box. Welcome to GameSpot After Dark, live from San Francisco, the home of self-driving cars and I don't know what else.
some bridges.
Bridges. We got
Is that all you got?
is that all?
How much you know about your city?
Yeah, that's it, right? Like I don't
Self-driving cars and bridges.
we got bridges.
But the self-driving cars can't actually go over the
they
bridges.
can't, it's true, they
No,
can't.
it's true.
Yeah, no. It's GDC week, which here in SF, which doesn't really probably mean a lot to the audience at home, but that's the Game Developers Conference. It's like one of the few things in our industry that actually like happens here in the city. So it's exciting for us because it means we get to have developers come in, which we have had throughout the week, which means we got a lot of cool stuff coming out, but we don't got anyone here because, you know, who wants to be on this show? Anyway, hi, Kurt and Davina.
Hi, I'm Karen Davina. Wait, hold on, what's this?
Damn it. I like half looked. I didn't even see your finger.
And that's Jacob Decker.
Hi.
Yes, actually, well, I was going to ask if you've done anything for GDC, but I guess I know that, but the audience does it, so I'll pretend I don't. Kurt, have you done anything cool for GDC this week?
I've been locked in this room
With me?
for basically every single day of the week. So I have done lots for GDC, but not at GDC. I've not been able to go to GDC. I've not been able to go to any talks. I've not been able to go to the show floor, even though the show floor would be showing like, would be corporate people like, hey, you should come to Cincinnati. We'll give you $1 to make a game in Cincinnati. There's a lot of, you know, initiatives like that on the floor.
Can you make a game with $1 in Cincinnati?
Go to the booth. GDC.
Man, I can make some games in Cincinnati.
We'll give you a couple.
I'll make 10 games.
We'll give you $1 and some Skittles. Come on down, live in Cincinnati and make games. Because every city's got a game initiative like that. I don't know if that's true. So, but no, I've been in here interviewing lots of developers, seeing lots of games.
True.
Hands on, hands off. Some embargoed, so you got to wait a bit.
Yeah. Some exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Jake, what about you? You done anything around GDC?
Nope.
Cool.
GDC is a really
Weird one. It's
GDC,
not like a...
because I never it's the games developer conference. So with that title in mind, it's geared heavily towards game development. So it's not your typical sort of showcase of games in most cases, like in Summer Game Fest or, you know, rest in peace E3 or something of that nature, or PAX.
E3's dead?
Richard
Richard
Lee in the office
have been shot and killed.
turned to me, and I forget what the conversation was, but he's like, bro, no one knows what E3 is anymore. And I was like...
Is that true, Richard? Yeah. Richard
said, yeah, in the back. And I kind of had to think about it, where I was like, no, like, what do you mean? Like, and then I was like, well, when was like the last E3? And I'm like,
2019?
yeah, which I'm like, that's
Yeah.
like 6 years ago. And I was like, oh,
My one and only.
At least you made it to one.
Yeah.
you know, that is like a sizable generation of like people who play games that have like grown up and like with no context of like E3, not experiencing it. Like maybe they've heard about it, but didn't actually like care about it.
I mean, I don't think people who are actively paying attention care about it, but I think, you know, I have faith in those youngins. They want to know, like, where did I come from? What are my roots?
Yeah.
If they care about video games at one point or another, they'll look up a VHS YouTube rip of E3 1995 where they have the real Mortal Kombat actors doing kicks and like booth babes and all those things of the past, which most of it should.
I think once like a YouTuber makes like a video that's like,
What
happened? There used to be this thing called E3. They've probably already made that.
Yeah, the mecca of gaming or whatever.
Yeah.
And like,
It used to be so good back in the day.
like you're not gonna believe how big this
a 4.5
convention
hour video essay
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the booth babes.
Yeah. Where they say like
E3.
3
Oh,
months.
see, don't give away my ideas.
Are you gonna become a booth babe?
Yeah, I'm going all in.
I mean, I feel. Look, who am I to say anything? But I remember talking to a few. I remember having a conversation with people how like, obviously, booth babes are weird because it's a sexualized, objective kind of look at making women flashy on in what was a male-dominated audience. But having spoken to some of those and heard down the grapevine, for a lot of them, it was just a good gig. It was just a good paying gig. But this is where my whole support for, if you want to do that, you can do that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Anyways, all I'm saying is
Like a local, like a co-op owned booth babe like industry, like,
with proper health insurance.
Yeah.
Little game show when I went in 2018, they were doing.
Japan.
I'm sure Japan as well. Because even like my first E3 was 2015, and I think at that point there were like virtually no booth babes anymore. But then I went to Brazil Game Show, and I was like, all right, this industry is still alive and kicking in Brazil.
I support and empower anybody who wants to be a babe of any gender.
Or booth men, like the Tekken boys.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Those were some
The
muscly boys.
Summer Game Fest, like the best part is like, so at Summer Game Fest, there was these 2 Tekken men who are so fucking ripped. I think we like all have pictures of them, but
I didn't. I was too intimidated.
people believe they weren't real. Like there was somebody who was like, that's a statue. Or
Yeah,
that's
yes,
a costume.
yes,
I was
everyone
like,
thought
no,
it
that
was
is
a
a real
statue.
human breathing person with muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were that and fake looking.
I saw them there, and then I saw them again that Evo. They were also there for Evo, and I was like, "Look at them!" So I'm like, "I hope you're going to be at every trade show I go to now."
Father and son.
I just see those Tekken boys right there. So yeah.
Anyways, no booth babes at GDC as far as I'm aware, because I didn't walk the show floor. I didn't see any of them, unless they're made of AI.
No. This is a podcast about video games,
We've been talking about it.
and we've been playing some. Should we talk about the big one this week? Well, wait. What is the big one?
Yeah, because
There are 2 big ones.
Sure.
Well, one
there's
technically doesn't come out till next week, but the embargo's up.
embargo's up. There's like the big one, and then there's like the bigger one for us, probably in terms
for
of
us 3.
us 3.
Yeah, when you
what we
said the
care
big
about.
one, only one game came to my mind.
And that game is.
Atomfall.
Why don't we talk about Atomfall first then?
Well, hold on. Why don't we?
I feel like we're gonna have a lot less to say about the other game.
Sure.
So
Well,
I would say let's talk about the other game that starts with an A. Ass ends. Creed, the band. Shadows of the Damned.
Assassin's Creed came out. Is out, right? It's out.
It's out. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
out. Okay, cool.
You can buy it right now.
You can buy it right
you want.
now. Jordan Ramey reviewed it for us on GameSpot. Gave it an 8 out of 10.
Assassin, dude. Jordan has played every fucking Assassin's
He
Creed
has.
game. Like actually played them.
Yes.
Actually finished them. Mm-hmm. And then the best part is if you watch the GameSpot show, which Jordan Ramey is on, where we talk about Jordan's review of Assassin's Creed, it's almost like every time I said you've played all of them, Jordan was like, "Why are you putting me on blast like me?" I was like, "Is it not true that you've played all the Assassin's Creed games? Like, I don't understand. I'm not shaming you, or was I?" Anyways, continue, John Luke.
No, I was going to say, if you want to hear Jordan's opinion, you should go watch that episode of the GameSpot show.
And have been watching.
Or you should go read his
Meltdown.
review. I find it... Okay. So I think Jordan... what I would say is, I think Jordan's review is the perfect review if you're somebody who is very, I would say, similar to Jordan. Because I think there's like 2 kind of camps with Assassin's Creed now. There's people who, are like, I love Assassin's Creed. I know what it is. I'm okay with what it is. And I just want, more of that. Or I want it kind of like, like within that sphere of Assassin's Creed, right? Because it's like, I think it's easy to kind of dunk on Assassin's Creed, but like it is popular. And it's popular for a reason. People like it. Jordan likes that kind of game. And I think if you are into that, like Jordan is like a good metric for like, is this going to scratch that itch for you, the person who likes Assassin's Creed? And I do not mean it like that's not me being like, I'm not trying to be derogatory or anything like that. I don't know if I'm coming across that way, but like, no, I mean that like genuinely, like, like it makes sense. This is all to set up my perspective. Me, the person who once really liked Assassin's Creed, loved Assassin's Creed.
Did you used to walk around with like a hood?
I did have an Assassin's Creed T-shirt at one point.
But did you do the hood? And
No.
be like, I'm cool.
No, I didn't do that
No,
because that's not very cool.
Did you like? You didn't jump off a building into
And went like
to a hay bale doing Spider-Man.
no, it's the blade. Yeah, I'm doing
I'm Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Spider-Man. Peter Parker. Who? Peter, park that ass over there. I'm gonna sass my
Aunt May.
Creed. Yeah, fuck. Yeah. You could have been. Come on, you got a hood on right now.
Yeah, throw it up.
man, this is like, oh, I'm an assassin. I don't know what they do.
It's like, oh my god, I can't see you. You blended into the crowd.
Once again, Kurt has tricked you into doing an impression of.
God damn it! Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Is it Enzio?
Ezio?
Sure. Could you do that?
Oh, I don't even. He's just like Italian assassin man. I'm not gonna do that. No, you do it. You're Italian.
You can't get in trouble.
I've never played an Assassin's Creed game.
What do you think the Italian assassin man sounds like?
Fucking minchia, fat stuff on go, get the fuck out of my way. And then he's, just like shaking people in the streets and throwing meatballs all over the place.
I think I would have liked Assassin's Creed too, if that was it.
I'm fucking walking here. Is that what it's like?
Yeah, you nailed
that's
it.
when he goes to New York,
100%. Yeah.
It's voiced by Sonic guy, right?
It is. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, gotta go fast.
Yeah, Roger Craig Smith.
I'm gonna assassinate you real fast. I'm coming for you, Pope. Hey, is the Pope in the one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, you fist fight the Pope in that one.
Fist fight. Damn.
Yeah.
Should I play these games?
No, because you only do it. You gotta play like 50 hours.
The Pope is barely standing on 2 feet right now in real life. So if there's any time,
Yeah, I mean the Pope is like in his deathbed when you show up and just start punching him in his
get the fuck out of here. All right, cool.
Anyway, I did at one point like Assassin's Creed
And used to wear hoods.
and used to wear hoods and say, "Get out of here!"
I'm gonna come up behind you. You're not gonna know what the fuck hit you.
But eventually, the luster wore off. I don't know. I just kind of
When did it?
I think 4 was the last one that I was like really
Enjoyed.
which was Black Flag. And then after that, they were like, "We're making 2 at once," and I was like, and didn't. Unity was Unity and Rogue, and
Where were you the day Unity and Rogue released?
I don't know.
what a question!
That's Richard Lee's question. Richard Lee wanted me to ask that to Jordan because I knew where I was.
Where were you?
I was behind the counter at a GameStop. It was the worst
okay.
fucking day of my life.
Oh, that must have the amount of
A lot of people show up with hoods and like.
yeah. And
confused grandmas being like,
not even, but that's the thing. It didn't
Which
even
one
have
do I buy?
It didn't even have to be confused grandma. It could just be like normal person. Be like, hey, I'm going to pick up the new Assassin's Creed.
You're like, which
and
one?
it was like, what one? And they're like, I don't know, the one for Xbox. It's like Xbox 360 or Xbox One. Like you had like a series
Right.
of like, like deduction you had to go through in order to do it. It was
Yeah, you should just like hand everyone a little piece of paper.
Yeah.
Like a little checklist,
Yeah.
and they like check the
But
box.
then there were the older folk who were buying them for their kids, and it was like that's when it got real confusing.
Yeah.
because there was like Xbox,
They don't know what
PlayStation, they're
system
like,
they have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a nightmare.
Imagine working at GameStop when the Xbox Series X and S came out, or the Xbox One, or like,
Just working at a GameStop.
yeah, probably.
You want to put $5 down towards a pre-order?
Oh God, I'd hate that.
All right, Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Anyway,
Keep derailing.
okay. The whole reason I was setting this up was to say, like, I am no longer someone who's
You're a
really
lapsed fan.
a lapsed fan, but I always pop back in to be like, maybe this one will rekindle the lost magic. It'll get the spark back. And it's not happened. And unfortunately for me, I played like 4 hours of this game, and I went, I don't want to keep playing this.
So did you even play as both protagonists?
No, well, kind of,
yeah, because
You start off as Yasuke, right?
you start off Yasuke at the very beginning for like 20 minutes, and then it switches to Naoe, the other protagonist, and then you just keep playing as Naoe for like 12, 15 hours until finally Yasuke comes back into the story. So I didn't even get to that point because I was just like, nah, I'm good. It's really weird how much like the opening of that game feels like this is like, why is there two protagonists in this game? Like, it's just
It seems like that was Jordan's
her.
entire review. Also, by the way, since we are doing this live, if you do have questions in chat,
Oh yeah,
drop them in chat, and then we will answer them at the end of the show.
yeah. We're gonna build up some questions. If you have questions regarding either Assassin's Creed, anything we talk about,
Or if you,
whatever the
General
fuck.
questions.
yeah, if you want to share a lemon bar recipe,
No, you
Drop
know
it
what?
in chat.
Chat, I want to know where you were.
yeah, where were you?
Unity came out.
yeah, yeah.
And when was it? Like August 17th, 2012 or something?
2014, I think.
14.
That was off.
Or 13.
14.
14.
14?
Because 2013 was Black Flag, wasn't it? Because that's when that was a launch title with the Xbox One and PS4, which came out in 2013
You're right.
to 2014.
Yes, you are correct.
I mean, you were correct. I just stole it from you.
I'm just
Know what the date was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was November 14th.
November 20 fuck.
Nikki's November 14th, 20 fuck.
2014.
Okay, so
Thank you.
great.
Sorry, I got all of it wrong. November 11th, 2014.
Okay, November 11th,
Thank you, Nikki.
2014. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank God that was.
So in a last minute plot twist, I've played 2.5 hours of Assassin's Creed.
Whoa.
Yeah, expense to copy. Thanks, Jan. And you know what? I like it.
Oh,
You do.
No, I haven't played enough to actually give like an opinion.
I was going to say, have you even gotten past the tutorial?
Well, that was my favorite thing because before I played it, you pointed out, you're like, yeah, this game has 2 tutorials for some reason. And I'm like, huh. And then you play it and it has straight up 2 tutorials, like for just the basic combat. And it's like,
Should I get into my theory?
yes.
My
Yeah,
theory?
because Jordan also has a conspiracy theory.
Okay, I'm going to get into my conspiracy theory for this game. So, play this game. I'm going to also, I am going to straight up spoil the first, like,
But it's
2 hours. But I'm going to spoil the opening of this game. So if you care about that, skip ahead. You know, I like
yeah, live.
you know, fuck off, like whatever.
Exactly. It's okay.
Opening of the game, you play as Naoe, and her village is being attacked, and like her dad gets killed, and that is the what? Oh, sorry, did I spoil something?
Yeah, I really care to know. Sorry, it's the open the game. It's fine. It's
And that is like the crux that like sets off this entire journey where she like seeks revenge against this like group of people that murdered her dad. And you're playing it and you're like, okay, like whatever. It's weird because like the dad has this like really long extended death scene that's like you're really supposed to care. But I'm like, I've just met the dad like 2 minutes ago. I don't really care. Sorry. You're like, all right. Then it proceeds to flash back and then start setting up the dad afterwards. And you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like that you're like now introducing all this like setup for the dad afterwards. And as Jake pointed out, at this point you've done a couple of like gameplay sections as Naoe that are kind of tutorializing like combat and stealth. When it goes into the flashback, the dad goes, and now we will do our morning training. And then it goes into
you get a training sword.
a training sword, and you do like a training combat tutorial for the combat that you've already been doing, and it doesn't teach you anything new. And I'm like, well,
And it straight up teaches you that at the beginning when you play as Yasuke too,
Yes.
which is like he feels slightly different, but it's still the same buttons you're hitting to do the same things.
So you're like, why? Hold on. Why am I doing a tutorial for combat I already know? This is weird. And then the flashback continues, and then it kind of just like abruptly ends. And you're like, okay, all right, I guess I have a little more context for the dad now. Whatever.
Yeah, doesn't it end after you eat breakfast or something too?
Something like that. It's weird. It ends in a very like abrupt way, and you're like, that was kind of awkward. So then game keeps going for a bit. You finally get to the like you can now explore the open world. The tutorial's done. The setup's there. Go. One of the first things you find is this like shrine. It's like right next to the opening area. I go up to the shrine. I'm like, oh, that's the thing. Let's go up to it. You do this little mini game where you like meditate and like hit some buttons. And
You meditate and press buttons while you're meditating?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not meditation.
I know. I actually find that minigame very aggravating. I don't find it very
Absolute opposite
meditative.
of what meditating's supposed to be. You're not
Well, it's supposed to be
doing
like
shit.
rhythmic. It's like boom, boom, and it's like little chimes are happening. It's supposed to be peaceful.
Just
I
force
find
the
it
player to
annoying.
just put the damn controller down and take a deep breath in
breath.
real life. Anyways, okay.
Ooh, they could have used the like microphone. Like if you hear
Yeah.
you breathing in. So then you do this mini game, and then suddenly it goes to another flashback that continues exactly where that last flashback ended.
So breakfast or
Yes, like,
it's like
right after breakfast.
okay.
People are attacking the village. This is all like, 2 years before, and you get more tutorialization of the combat. And then you're like, and then it abruptly ends, and that sequence is over. You go back to the open world, and you're like, okay, that was weird. And then every time you go to a shrine, it does another one of these flashbacks. What's really weird is that these flashbacks feel extremely well produced. They are like full on like story cutscenes. But the game is not telling you that, like, it's not pushing you towards these. It doesn't even like on the map. It's not like, hey, you should really go check this out. It's just a thing you discover. And every time you do it, it's the same thing. Like, cuts back to where the flashback ended, kind of awkwardly, has a tutorial section that's like, now you're kind of learning stealth. Now you're doing this. And you do it like 5 times. And then the last one, it stops right where the game begins with her village getting attacked. My conspiracy theory is that, all of this was supposed to be the intro to the game, and they cut it all out and then sprinkled it throughout because they realized that the opening would have been way too slow or something. Like, I don't know anyone at Ubisoft. Like, I'm not gonna like confirm. Like, I have no idea. This is just a theory playing this game, but you play it, it feels so awkward. And like, why am I doing these? And
So you could potentially play this without ever
you could skip them.
Like,
you could not
just
experience
going
them,
through
or you
the
could
shrines.
find them like hours in and being like, oh, now I'm
Here's
getting
how to sneak.
here's now how to sneak, and here's the backstory with the dad.
bizarre.
It's really
so bizarre.
It's really bizarre, and like because you play it those flashbacks, and you're like, well, this is at least giving me context for like who the dad is and her relationship, and like it makes his death at least make sense. It's very strange. I've never seen that in a game before where it's like so obviously like feels chopped up, and like they just like maybe I don't know, maybe they had like some sort of epiphany of like it's just not working, but like we also don't want to like we all put all this hard work into it. I don't know. I don't want to get overly speculative about it, but like it's just I think it says something that when you play it, it feels weird and disconnected, and yeah, it just feels off.
I mean, even with all that out in the beginning, I feel like for the 2.5 hours I was playing, I never got to the point where it's like explore. Like I felt like it was still moving at a very
I agree. Pace. Yeah, so it's like part of me is like I'm glad that stuff wasn't all in the beginning because I also was like get moving, and as we'll talk about with Atomfall, that game just like
Atomfall's like
kicks you out the door. Well, you kick a guy and then you go out the door, and then it's like, all right, here you go.
Haven't you explained what Assassin's Creed Shadows feels like? And then I just played like 40 minutes of Atomfall. It is the absolute opposite. Like
100%.
Game opens, guys like, I'm bleeding out, and you can choose to help him, but apparently also Jean-Luc and Jake were like, you actually don't have to help this dude. You can just kick him right in the face, take his key, and leave. And that's exactly what I fucking did. And then the moment you walk out, you like beat up a guy, and then world open. No direction, no like HUD to point you where to go. So 2 big games this week.
Yeah.
Yes, well, no, one of them is a big game. One of them is kind of a
Small
sleeper.
AA.
AA, somewhere between AA and AAA.
Yeah.
I will say it seems like we're about to like kind of change subject, but there are some things that like I've kind of been enjoying in Assassin's Creed, even though I'm not very far. I can already tell like after I do it, 3 or 4 times,
Sure.
I'll be bored. But I do like the combat. I think the combat it's not like super intense or crazy, but it does feel like the best version of this combat that they've been doing for a while. For the most part. Like there's still some weird like floatiness to it that I've never really been a fan of. But I think like it feels pretty good to play. The stealth I'm enjoying. The stealth feels way better. I like the grappling hook, how you can just kind of like
Yeah.
climb up anywhere. And I also think this game looks incredible. I've been playing it on ultra wide. Well, certain things like some of the cutscenes, some of them are good, some of them are okay. But like the world itself, I've really been digging, especially the season changes. Like I don't know how much that adds for gameplay. I know that was kind of a big, maybe not a big, but like a marketing point was like, oh yeah, seasons change. It affects the gameplay. Upon that was you could swim through, now you can slide on or whatever.
Right.
Cool. But I think visually that's really cool. And I kind of wish more games would play with seasons in a way that this does. Maybe like a more dynamic game could have done something cooler with it. I haven't played enough to really say.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to play a little bit more at least. I think because for me, like I played the first Assassin's Creed and I thought it was okay. I tried the second, did not like it. Tried Brotherhood, not a fan. For some reason, played all of 3, even though I didn't like it.
That's like my least favorite.
Played a little bit of
originals.
4, but liked it, but didn't love it. Like, and then just kind of like didn't play any of them until Origins, which I actually really liked Origins. I thought Origins is probably like the last decent story they've had in an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
But that's another thing I've heard about this Assassin's Creed is, and just Ubisoft games recently, I think Skillet mentioned it in his review, but I definitely noticed it in Star Wars Outlaws, where they do this thing where they like have like a very story heavy setup and then there's no story for 30 or 40 hours. And then it's like, okay, now we have story again at the end. And like, it just throws pacing out the door.
Yeah. It like forces you to like do things in any order. But because of that, it's just throwing like characters and like that they just come like so fast and heavy and you don't like remember any of them. I definitely feel that with this game where all of the dialogue and all the characters were just like going over my head. I'm just like, I don't care about any of this. Like I find it extremely dull and boring. I agree with you that I think like the stealth is actually like pretty good. It does feel like they finally have like come back around to emphasizing stealth in a major way, which Assassin's Creed has not done for a while. And because to me, it's like, it's called Assassin's Creed. Like it was built with the idea of like stealth.
Social
so like
stealth,
you know, seeing them kind of like put another, an emphasis back on that is nice, but it's just not doing anything new enough for me that I found myself very
you can go prone
quickly. Yeah, you can go prone. That's cool.
Nap.
You know,
Have the snowfall.
they're like, oh, we should do that. Like, you know, we like, no one's gone prone in forever. Like, where could that be? It's not like we have a franchise where a guy went prone. No. Okay. All right. Anyway.
all these years, and they finally were like, "What if you laid down?"
If you laid down, took a nap. It's fine. It's just for me, it's just like it doesn't do anything interesting for me. That I'm just like I'm bored, and I don't want to keep playing it. But you know what? I do want to keep playing Atomfall, which is the new
Rebellion.
Yeah, my brain went RPG, but that's not. I don't. It's not an RPG.
Not really an RPG.
It's the new game from Rebellion, which
Survival
is
game.
The survival
kind
game,
of, but it's not
sort
like
of.
survival and like drinking water and eating food. You know.
Yeah, it's the new game from Rebellion, the people who made Sniper Elite, which I've actually never played a Sniper Elite, so I have no.
They're good.
I have no frame of reference for like how much this game is taking from those games. Like I'm coming into this very like fresh to this developer, but I think this game like is like amazing. Like I'm really really into it. Like I know the tagline that like because when someone first told me about this game because I never heard of it, they were like, oh yeah, it's like a Fallout type game. I was like, oh okay. It's not like a Fallout game,
which is so
at all.
But
I don't think
I mean,
it's the closest comparison I would say is Stalker or like Far Cry 2. Like it kind of has more that elements where everything is very like deliberate, everything is slow paced.
a lot of shit working against you.
Yes, there's a lot of friction in the game in a way that is I find like so like engaging. Where it like like combat is like difficult. You can die in like a hit or two if you're you have limited ammo. You have to like think on your feet, and there's like interesting little I don't know, like immersive. It has those like immersive kind of like moments that you get out of like a a Far Cry game or something like that.
I've only played like 40 minutes of it, but the one thing I do want to talk about and go back to it is like I think last week or a few weeks ago I was at a bitch fest about the Fallout 3 opening and how fucking slow and nonsensical and weird that is. Like, son, I'm so proud of you for being a boy. I'm so proud of you for fucking.
Here's your own pit bull.
Here's your own pit boy, and then you deal with the bully who's like,
Shoot some cockroaches.
here's a BB gun, boy. Go shoot a can or two, and it just takes like fucking.
And you take a test.
You take a goddamn test, and it takes like an hour and a half to get through, and then you get outside, and by the time I do that, I'm like, I'm fucking done. I don't want to be a part of this. The intro to this game is like 10 minutes, and then you are shoved into the open world, and you're like, go. We're not telling you shit. That's all you get. And like here, like that's like, it's not comparable to Fallout anyway, but it's funny to hear this comparison. It's like, be like, you should start up Atomfall and compare that to a Bethesda opening because this game just goes.
And from there, it's extremely open-ended.
Yeah.
You know, you have an opening area, but you can go to any of the little areas in the game like immediately. There is like it gives you like a direction to go in with the story, but like you can totally ignore it and just do something else. And like I went on a completely like tangent that I thought was just like I'm doing a side thing, and then it wrapped back around to the main story, and I realized like, oh, I think I just unlocked a path to lead to like one of the game's alternate endings. Like, and like, that's awesome. Like that, like no matter what I do, it does eventually like very naturally just like loop you back in to like the main objective.
That's what I was going to say. It feels like, cause like I was exploring the first area somewhat thoroughly, and I felt like I found multiple clues that like pointed me towards my objective, even if I was just off the beaten path doing something else. And I kind of like that natural sort of quest development, I guess, especially compared to something like we just said it's not like Fallout, but like the whole like just marker on the map, and it's like you go and talk to the guy, and he's like, you do this for me, and then you go do it and come back and talk to him. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to explain what Atomfall is because we really haven't. I mean, do you wake up amnesiac? Is that the whole thing? Like, do you not know what's going on, or do you?
I don't think you know what's going. You're not supposed to know what's going on.
Okay.
I think you just wake up and you're like, "Where am I?"
So you wake up, this guy in a hazmat suit's like, "I'm bleeding now. You gotta give me a bandage."
And if you're me, you help him. If you're Kurt,
Well, it was great because the punching in that game, I just immediately kicked him, and his ragdoll did a 180, and then I realized when you
bashed against the door and like broke his neck. And
but when you punch in that game, it's just two fists on screen, just like going back and forth. It's not. There's no rhythmic sort of fighting. It's just like, and you just kick and go.
You will get attacked by birds in this game too. Like
You
they're
just
like bats.
punch the shit out of a murder of crows.
you're punching them out of the
Punch them in the
sky.
air.
Like,
It's,
There's something so goofy. It just,
or throw your weapon at them.
yeah, and that was the other thing is like once you get out into the world and it's open to you, all you get is this strange phone call from a phone booth. That's like, oh my guy, and that's it. That's all you get, and then you're out. You got to go, and more or less, you said this in your preview. That's like a detective game. Like you're more so investigating what the fuck is going on, and you actually get like leads that then take you to different areas. But like I only had a small hands-on time with it, so I was like, I'm just gonna push whatever this environment is to my limit, and I was picking up like cricket bats and like throwing them over my head at these dudes. When you
Stuck a knife in a guy's face.
when you get guns, they're all rusty and fucked up, and as you point out, it does the Peter Jackson King Kong game thing where you have to check your ammo to know how much. Like you actually have to like hit
Yeah,
the
you
load
like
button to
hold
check
R
how
and
much
he'll like
ammunition
pull it
you
back.
have.
Yeah.
So you're not. There's this sort of like dancy sort of thing you do where you're not just constantly reloading your gun because you're not actually seeing how much ammo you have in the first place. It's more methodical.
Yeah.
I guess in that way. And I don't know. Like I'm excited to play more. I have no opinion yet, other than I fucking saw a group of dudes just doing their thing, and I threw a Molotov cocktail at them, and it was the best feeling in the world. But there is
one of the most effective Molotov cocktails I've seen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And
Burned
they were
like 6 people,
and they
at
were standing in a
once.
puddle. They could have just laid down. But it's not that. It's not that type of immersion. But in that brief moment, it was just like really good to play an opening of a game that at no point told me that I had to do anything.
Yep.
It was just like, go. You're in the world. Figure it out. Go. And I like that.
And from everything I played so far, it keeps that spirit going. Like it has not at any point been like, hey, you gotta go do this. Like, there's like a main objective, but like the way you get there is up to you. Another thing I really love is so there's the open world areas, and each area I would say like has a very different like flavor to it, not just visually, but almost like the way enemies are populated with like allies. So like the first area feels very just like, okay, it's full of bandits. It's kind of here to give you like the basic flavor. But then you'll go to this other area and it's actually like a village. And it's like, okay, like this is like, there are no enemies here technically. It is like an open village where you can go around, you can like talk to people, you can get quests but also you can at any point kill anyone. Like you can kill all the major quest givers.
Yeah, there was a
like super cool.
There was a saddled man
Playing his guitar.
And he was like, "Well, I'll see you later." And I was like, "Can I kill this guy?" Like kicked him 10 times. Like I don't know if I can. So then I took out a gun and shot him in the face. I was like, "Okay, I can kill him all right."
Yeah. One of the major quests that I did that led to that, like, oh, I think this is an alternate path. Like there were multiple moments during that quest where I could have like abandoned that quest or like antagonized them or just on my own decided to like, snap their neck or whatever, which is like awesome. I just love that a game lets you do that, and it's like fine. Like, yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
whatever.
Well, I mean, even like down to like some of the like mechanics you may not even get because like you haven't found the metal detector, which is a pretty key part of the game.
You have to find a flashlight.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a flashlight, and you found it in like 10 minutes, and it took me like an hour and a half to find a flashlight. So I was just like, you blundering through dark corridors trying to figure out where I'm going, and you just find it right away.
And the flashlight works like the Doom flashlight where you can't have the gun and the flashlight out at the same time. I love it. It's it's so good. You mentioned dark areas. I will say one thing that I have not loved about this game, or found like a little bit of friction with, is in a bad way, is because the combat can be so brutal in how quickly you die. There are some areas where I just get shot out of nowhere and I had like no context for it.
Yeah.
And like that can be like a little annoying where you're just like, okay, I didn't even feel like I was given the opportunity to see this enemy, and not in like, oh, they ambushed me, just more like, is that a guy over there? And all of a sudden it's just like, and you're like, I'm dead. And like that can be a little frustrating. Especially in like, I went to this castle, and there's like an underground, cavern in there. And like that area is like so dark and you can barely see. And there were times where I'm just like, I feel like I'm just kind of stumbling around and getting killed in a way that wasn't as fun. Nothing like game breaking, but like that moment I found the game to be like a little like, it's okay. Or like, the enemies can sometimes, I don't know, be a little brain dead in a way that can be where they just like rush you or, so I wish that stuff was like a little stronger, because I think it would make the game, I don't know, like feel like in comparison to other games that I think have done it better, like a Stalker or like a Far Cry, like that feels like just not quite as up to snuff as those games, but it's by no means like a huge detraction. It's just like, if I had to come up with a thing that a criticism so far, it would be that.
There are like, because I remember in my preview, one of the criticisms I guess I had at the time was the AI, because I could they like, especially melee people would just charge me and I just kick swing. But I feel like it's not. Maybe it could just be in my head, or maybe now that I've played more, it's like a little different. But it doesn't feel quite as bad as it did during that preview, because even like when I was watching you play, and you got flanked by someone.
That was
like,
actually really
I don't think
surprising.
that happened when I was playing it before. It could have just been the situation I was in.
Nikki, are you okay? There's a hand coming from a dark void.
I'm shocked.
So
Anyway.
while they're doing whatever they're doing, there was a moment when all these enemies were coming through like a small doorway, and I was like, I got these. I'm gonna just funnel these through. And then all of a sudden, a dude like ran around the other side of the building. And it's like a little thing that other games have done, but still, it just was like, oh my god, Jesus.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe there's like moments of it, but then also like in that same encounter, I think you saw a guy on the horizon like.
Oh yeah,
back and
there's
forth and
I lured a dude through a trap, which I was like, yeah. But then he just kind of was on the hill, being like, I'm gonna go this way. No, fuck you. I'm gonna go this way. Just kidding. And I was like, all right.
But I will say they have the enemy AI do one thing that I think is like so simple, but like
Say bloody hell.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, every video game they should all go bloody hell.
When you throw a cricket bat.
No, it's when they don't immediately attack you.
Oh,
you know,
right,
like you'll like encounter them and they'll be like, "Hey, back off!" And if you back off, they're like, "Yeah, that's right," and then they keep going. And I like genuinely love that because I think about other games like a Fallout where it's like, I don't know, you run across a bandit and they just immediately are like, time to kill you.
Yeah.
And like, it's just something as simple as like, you know, because when that happens, you're like, yeah, you're a video game enemy. But the fact that they like have some level of like self-preservation of like, we don't necessarily want to pick a fight with you. We just will if you like get in our space is like very subtle, but a very like cool thing that I'm just like, I think every video game that like should do that more.
Sure. I'm really curious to see if that like develops because I know when I was talking to the director, he was saying that like there's a faction system, and if anything, it sounded like that's probably the thing that was most inspired by Fallout New Vegas in particular.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see like how that sort of stuff affects gameplay. Like I wonder if, you know, you piss off one faction enough, they're not even going to give you like hold on, let's step back, and they'll just shoot on sight.
Yeah.
Versus like one maybe you've buddied up with, and they're like, "Oh, hey, pal, what's up?" You know.
Hey, bro. I've done a little bit of that, and it's a little hit or miss for me. Like, so I went and I attacked the druids, which were the like weird forest
Prey
people.
to the soil or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, who are like living in the castle. And they're like, the castle is their base. So if you're there, they're going to kind of aggro more immediately. Like, makes sense. You know, if like an intruder attacks your home, they're going to be more aggressive. After I did that quest, though, I did kind of keep going. And I eventually like sort of sided with their faction. And
they forgave you?
Well, no, that was kind of the weird part. It was like, it seemed like they did. And for this specific quest, it was like, hey, like, they're cool. They're not going to attack you. And then it's like, you're with them now. And I'm like, okay, like, great. And then I'm like, I'm going to leave now. And then immediately as I left, like a bunch of them attacked me. And I was like, okay, so I thought we were cool, but then it seems like it's not, or like, maybe I just wasn't clear on how that worked. But yeah, it seems like they still wanted to kill me anyway. So not sure what's up with that.
The one thing I'm curious about that I noticed, I point this out, it's like people in these gangs look like Norwegian. The ones I look like these. Yeah, look like these Norwegian death metal dudes with like white face paint, black things, like black paint smeared down. They're wearing like crazy feathers. They look like birds. They look like crows. They look like they've been living in the wild, and they're acting like they're wild. But the moment I like killed them, I realized they had like really clean, dapper haircuts, like really close, like faded, dapper haircuts. I was like, what's going on here? Like, why are these guys? Is this what they do on the weekends?
It's that British politeness, you know?
And then they just they're like back off, bruv. But then during the week, they're just going to their normal desk job. I don't know what's going on. So, anyways, I have nothing to add to that other than I'm curious. You know,
how the hair develops.
Yeah, why are they taking so much time to look fucked up? But then they spend all this time getting their hair cut and combing it properly and putting proper hair products in it, unless they're reused assets from Sniper Elite.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Damn.
I will say the game can look a little rough on the character models sometimes. Some of the faces maybe don't look as I don't know, expressive or like highly detailed as maybe you would expect in 2025. But I think the art direction more than makes up for it, especially in the environmental details. Like you can tell it's more AA, I guess, but I think it still absolutely is punching above its weight in terms of like the art direction. And also it's like, I don't know. I think I care less and less about.
I don't give a shit. Like the game is very sharp looking, as we were saying. Like there's just a lot of texture,
vibrant,
a lot of grain. But you know, if you squint your eyes through that blur, that blurry vision, you see a really, really well designed sort of vista and world. But I don't know, graphics never make or break an experience for me.
No, I agree. But
like it was enough that when I still played the game and like went out into the open world, the way the world is presented to you with like that red phone booth box and like there's two hills
and like the weird anomaly in the background
and these like paths going every direction. I was like, it's a sick shot. Like it looked awesome. So yeah, to your point, punching above its weight punch above the Atomfall.
Absolutely. So obviously still early kind of impressions on this game, but it's like my biggest surprise of the year so far. You know, like I knew like Monster Hunter, like it's gonna be great, and
It does seem like this game went from like nobody knowing what the hell it was to suddenly like
I want to tell everyone to go check this game out.
Well, I mean, especially, Sniper Elite dev, like they've made other stuff, but like they've been making Sniper Elite games for so long. And like this game does borrow some DNA from it. I think when I was talking to the director, he had talked about how that sort of open-ended objective style, they kind of tried to carry over, but the difference was that Sniper Elite, those open-ended objectives are kind of just like localized just to one map. While this, they were trying to like have those objectives spread across the entire world. Right. I will say, like, I've played some Sniper Elite. I do like those games. They're kind of like Hitman-y in a way. But I think like you can kind of play with the environment a little more in Sniper Elite. There's more tools in your toolkit, I think, to like really manipulate AI. And I think part of that just has to do with how that game is designed versus this one. This one feels a little more personal, up close, and because of that, I feel like your kit might be a little more limited. But I think it works. I don't think it needs to be like this crazy immersive sim where you're doing all these wild stuff with enemies. I think it's like it's a pretty good balance.
I agree.
That's how we have a thing to talk about.
We do have a thing to talk about.
Because if you've been watching this podcast, listen to this podcast, or have been following us and hear us talking about something that we've been working on for a really long time, it's finally out.
Yes.
The Stalker documentary, How Stalker 2 Survived the War. Oh man, where do we even start? It's
on
YouTube.
Out.
You can watch it. It's about 45 minutes long. It documents it documents GSC Game World, half the team that evacuated right before Russia invaded Ukraine, and sort of the ways they had to adjust and change Stalker 2 because of the conflict. God, I think I pitched it to the PR team in June of last year.
Yep.
We flew out in September.
Mm-hmm.
We shot it over the course of a week. We came back, started editing, layoffs. Lost Chris Morris, who was like pretty instrumental in, I mean, still was throughout the entire project, but like, there was, we had a plan, and that plan just kind of like evaporated after that. So we got Richard's help and kind of pushed through. But yeah, I'm super proud of it. I don't know what else to say. I feel like that was like a quick version of it, but
I think there's just a sense of relief that like it came out,
Yeah.
At least for me.
There was a moment where I was like, is this going to happen? I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm really glad we did. I don't know. It just, it feels like the most important thing I've worked on at GameSpot, which is like, cause like, I don't know, we talk about like silly video games,
Yeah.
a lot of times. And it's just like, stuff that's like not frivolous, but like you're not gonna like, it's not gonna matter in like a week or two. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that kind of stuff. Like I like doing that, but it's like, this feels more like, I don't know. There's like, we're preserving and telling someone's story that can like live on for much longer and should be heard by people. So I'm just really like glad we were able to get it done.
I just want to give a big shout out to, and Jake had already mentioned, but Richard Lee, who's in the credits for Stalker 2, is also in the back room. Richard is basically the reason why this thing like really got over the finish line. Like all through, like you two actually went there along with Chris Morris. I was just like twiddling my thumbs most of this time, but I mean, like I tried to do my best the way I can, but yeah, if it wasn't for Richard, I don't think this thing would even really exist. So,
and if it did, it would have been much.
You're
worse.
welcome. No, come on, Richard. It's more than a thank you. Like, come on, thank you. There we go. So yeah.
To your point though, Jean-Luc, it's I never describe this job as, I never say I'm a journalist, even though like a lot of people call themselves games journalists, and that's fine. And like I go and do a lot of what I'm doing with like journalistic intent, like the way I cover games, but I would never call myself a journalist. But I think this is one of the few projects that I've done where I was like, oh, this actually feels like I not journal. It sounds bad when it's like this actually feels like journalism, but like
You're gathering
yeah,
You're gathering information. You're putting stories together. It's like you had to interview many people, string something together. It wasn't a story that was just like given to you on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
You then had to do research. You then had to go and like quantify the things you were saying with educational like
got all the stuff fact
like,
checked.
no, that is
and
the job. Like that's what you have to do to be able to make sure the story is being properly told and represented from all angles. That's being a journalist. So you did it.
Yeah, I think the biggest relief was like after working out for so long, and some of the guys at GSC Game World saw it, and they, I mean, like is probably not what they describe because reliving those memories, I'm sure are terrible, but like they were happy with how it turned out, and that was like it's a big relief for me because not that I was trying to like I don't know I was worried something would be off or something would be wrong, you know, like
yeah. You want to do it justice.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you did them a disservice in telling their story.
Yeah. So anyway, give it a thumbs up when you watch it. Watch the whole thing through. Leave a comment. Let's juice that algorithm. Come on, let's get it on YouTube recommended.
Leave a comment or two. Like, subscribe. No, what do you kids do these days? Share it with your mom or your guardian. See if they enjoy it or not. Nonetheless, make sure they watch it to the end. Like, share and subscribe and comment and all that jazz. But all that aside, I've talked about that game endlessly, and I'll probably wean off of it. But I mean, I also just think Stalker 2 rules. So, good game.
It's true.
Yeah. I was playing a lot more to capture for that thing, and I played it some when it came out, but I didn't get to like really sit down and play it. And I was playing a lot more, and I was like, damn, this game's dope.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Hey, Stalker.
Cool Stalker, man. Hey guy. You a real cool. You kill Stalker, yeah, man. That's what they're always like. That's just my Stalker impression. Every time I tell that game to someone, I'm like, I have one guy that I quote basically. Yo, cool Stalker guy, dude. Yeah, pissing through his pants. That's a bug I think they got rid of. Where they walk.
Unfortunately,
yeah. Well, I think we're gonna start winding down this podcast, but I do want to ask:
Do we have any questions?
Do we have any questions? It'd be real awkward if the answer is no.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, where were you when Rogan Unity released on the
Excellent.
exact same day?
Okay, cool.
Okay. Great. So, I mean, how did you have enough time to care? To Assassin's
Maybe they just
Creed
looked
games
up and
came
were
out
like,
while you're playing Dragon Quest
okay,
9.
that's cool.
Where were you playing it? Like, where were you in that environment? Did you see like did you get a letter that says, hey, Assassin's Creed Rogan Unity came out? What about it? Why?
Okay. We didn't even talk about it.
No.
Get a job. Like, Kirkland products.
Okay.
They
I'm more of a Kirtland guy myself.
yeah, well, I do think their toilet paper is pretty good. Pretty sure that's the toilet paper I buy is Kirkland. I'll have to go back at my corner market. That's the one I choose. And I think it gets the job done. I also have a bidet, so it has a little extra help.
I remember getting the big peanut butter pretzel, like they're
the bins.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember getting those
yes.
and destroying those.
Yeah.
I think they
I'm
were
trying to
Kirkland.
think like favorite Kirkland product.
Hot dogs.
Forever.
Yeah, the hot dogs.
Do they make hot dogs?
Well, I mean, Kirkland's Costco brands.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Okay.
Costco. Yeah.
Then is Kirkland carried at other places other than Costco?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So maybe I'm lying. Do
Damn
I
dirty
get toilet
liar.
paper? I'll have to
Check your toilet paper.
when I get home, I'll double check.
My answer is the chicken bake wrap,
Okay, cool.
but you can't buy it separately anymore. They used to sell it frozen.
It's a meme, right? You're doing the meme?
Oh, I genuinely
Okay.
like the chicken bake wrap. What's the meme about it?
Don't worry about it.
I'll look it up after. Jan, you got something else?
People are also asking your thoughts on the burger chain Red Robin.
Who gives a fuck?
I've been
These are
there.
the questions.
I've been there once, and
I've been there way too many times because Rochester, New York is a sad in the suburbs is a sad culinary place. But
Right.
I've been there quite a few times.
okay. Do you remember anything about it?
It's like the corporate, rush. It's the Applebee's of burgers or whatever. Like the Chili's of burgers, like sort of thing.
Sure.
Red Robin. I like that part.
Thankfully, I don't have to look at. I don't see those in San Francisco. I don't remember the last time I've seen one in person. Anyway, Jean, like, what do you think of Red Robin?
Nothing. That's what I was going to say. I don't remember anything about it. I went once. I couldn't tell you a single thing about it.
People like the burger.
Isn't that all they
Isn't
have?
that all they have?
Only burgers,
Isn't that the whole
so-
point?
No, they got fries too, probably.
Is that it, Jan?
Probably.
I hope that's it.
People are also saying they love the doc. Great job.
Oh,
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank
All right,
Yes.
cool. Well,
Thank
we
you very much. You should have. I appreciate everyone who's giving us the time of day, but I appreciate you saving that for last. The last of it.
Anyway, I think we're going to call a wrap on this podcast.
Because if you ask me any more about fast food places, I'm gonna be like, who gives a shit? I don't know. I got other things. I'm gonna go home and investigate whether or not we have Kirkland toilet paper in our plates.
Please report back next week.
I have a chicken enchilada lasagna.
Yeah, I'm in my fucking no, absolutely not. Rather,
I'm never gonna forget that.
yeah, well, unfortunately, me neither. I'm sure they have it at Cheesecake Factory along with every other monstrosity that's graced this goddamn planet.
Yeah.
I'm Curran Davina.
You're Curtin Davina. You're Jake Decker.
That's me.
I'm John Luxepke. Thanks again for watching, everyone. And we'll see you next time.